Level M this 13 day 1, and we're looking at the CH making the ch sound in these words, and we're also looking at the ER at the end making the schwat sound up. So rather than saying chapter, shiver, shelter, whisper, number, we tend to give it a schwat sound. So it'll be chapter, shiver, shelter, whisper, number. To make the spelling easier of these words, if you made an effort to pronounce that it would help you to ensure that you would spell those words correctly. So that's the trick in those words, is knowing that it's ER, but it's making that schwat sound at the end, just because we're a little bit lazy when we say those words. Okay, so in these words we said we've got the ch sound as in chart, cheat, chess, chance, and sandwich. Now this one, we know usually after a short vowel we usually put TCH. We have 5 words in English where we have a short vowel and we just put CH. That is because this is an old German word. So one of the families that settled in the north of England was the family by the name of Sandwich, and the Earl of Sandwich liked to gamble a lot. And when he would go to the gambling halls to gamble, he didn't like to leave the tables to go off and eat food. So he would click his fingers and ask his servants to bring him his food, his meal, between 2 slices of bread. And then other people who were gambling would say, oh, we want what Sandwich is having, and then it got down to we want a sandwich. So a sandwich is a meal served between 2 slices of bread, thanks to the Earl of Sandwich, who used to gamble a lot and created it, and it was then given his name. So we've also got the CH down here again in chapter. The other things we have down the bottom part is we have the SH for shh in shiver, shelter. Then we've got the WH in whisper. So if you say whisper, you'll feel air after the W, so you know to write the H there, in there. If there's no air, there's no H. Really, that's about 4,788 words that you don't have to learn if you can just do that little trick with the air after the W or not. It will help you spell quite a few words correctly. A number, you can just sound that one out. Now in chart, we've also got the AR sound. We've got the long E sound with the EA in cheat. In chess, because it's a short word, 1 syllable, and it has a short vowel sound in it, we end the word with 2 S's. Chance, we've got the CE making the sound at the end of a word. That's the most common way of writing the sound at the end of a word. If we see SE, we know that that is saying Z most of the time. So it's not perfect, but most of the time CE means sound. And we've been through all of those ones. Okay, so what do these words mean? Well, a chart is a visual representation of information. Cheat is when you don't follow the rules. You try to win by not playing the game as you should be. Chess is a board game that you might play. A chance is the likelihood or the probability of something happening. A sandwich, we've discussed, it's a meal between 2 slices of bread. A chapter is a section or a part of a book, and many chapters make up a longer story. Shiver is when you're very cold or you're scared and your body moves and you can't control it from moving to try and get you warmed up. Shelter is a building that protects us or an animal from the weather. Whisper is when you talk really quietly into someone's ear so no one else can hear what you're saying. And a number is the representation we give to indicate how many of something we're talking about. So let's go back and read the word, sound the word, spell the word, and write them and then check them. So we're going to go chart, ch-a-t, 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 C-H-A-R-T, 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 C-H-A-R-T. Make sure you cover the word, C-H-A-R-T, C-H-A-R-T, and then go back and check that you've spelt them correctly. The single syllable words are easier to sound each part out, whereas when you get down here into the multisyllabic words, you may have to split them via syllables to make them easier to spell. So these ones where you have two consonants together, you'd be splitting them between the two consonants. You can go through and work that out and have fun doing that page. This is level M, list 13, and we're doing the day 2 page, and we're going to revise the CH for the ch sound and ER on the end of a word where it makes its schwat sound. So let's read the words. We've got chart, cheat, chess, chance, sandwich, chapter, shiver, shelter, whisper, number. So if we pronounce these words correctly, we would hear that ER sound at the end, but we tend to give it a schwat sound, a grunt sound, which we represent like that. So you may choose to sound these words as they should be said to make the spelling easier. And if you don't, then you're going to have to remember that when you hear that schwat sound at the end of the word to write the ER. So let's have a look at what else is hidden in these words. In chart, apart from the CH for the ch sound, we've got AR, an R-controlled vowel, which is making a long vowel sound. We've got EA for the long E sound. Now in chess, we've got a short X sound. So we use, if it's a short word with a short vowel sound, we use double S at the end of it. Chance, we've got the CE is quite commonly used at the end of a word to get that sound at the end of a word. And quite often they use SE for the Z sound at the end of a word. So sandwich, now we know this is not following the rule which says after a short vowel sound you should put TCH, because sandwich is originally a name of it's an old German word coming from a family who had the name of Sandwich, and because the Earl of Sandwich liked to gamble a lot and didn't like to leave the gambling tables to waste time eating, he would order his servants to bring him his meal between 2 slices of bread, and gradually other gamblers would also say that they wanted what Sandwich was having, or they wanted a sandwich. So that's where we get the idea of having food between 2 slices of bread, and we've labelled it a sandwich, from that very old story from early England of a German family that moved to live in the north of England. Chapter is this, we've highlighted, we've got the CH and the ER on the end. Shiver, we've got the SH. Shelter, we've got a revision of the SH too. Whisper, we've got the WH. Now here, the reason we have this, we know we have to have this H after the W. If you remember the little trick I taught you earlier, if you say whisper, you can feel air after the W, so you know there's an H there. Whereas if you say witch, like a witch on a broomstick, witch, there's no air, or sandwich, there's no air, so there's no H after the W. So that's close to 5,000 words that you won't have to learn if you can remember to use that little trick. So air after the W means an H, no air, no H. Number is just as you see it, there's no tricks in that, just have to sound out those letters and add that schwat sound for the ER at the end. Okay, what do these words mean? Well, a chart is something that we could put on a wall, or we could pictorially show some information. Cheat is when you do a trick, or you don't tell the truth, or you play a game and you don't follow the rules. Chess is a board game that you might learn to play or be able to play. Chance is where you take a risk of something. Sandwich we've already discussed. A chapter is a section of a book. Shiver is when you're cold and your body starts moving to help gain warmth. Shelter is a protective building to shelter us from the weather or from something that may be endangering us. Whisper is when you talk very quietly, and a number is usually a representation of a group of things that we're trying to indicate quite clearly. So let's go back and read the word, sound the word and spell the word. So you've got your pencil ready and your little bit of paper. We're going to cover the words after we've read them, sounded them and spelt them. So we've got chart, ch-art, C-H-A-R-T, cover it and write the word. You can finish those on your own. Here all you have to do is finish the closed passage with list words. And down the bottom we've got another crossword. So we're really hoping that you like crosswords because you're getting quite a few of them in M. Level M list 13, and we're doing the day 3 today. And in these words we've got the CH making the ch sound. So we've got chart, cheat, chess, chance, sandwich, chapter. So you can colour those in, highlight those. And then we've got the ER on the end, which is making a schwat sound. So if we pronounce these words correctly, you would hear the but most of us shorten it to a schwat, like So rather than saying chapter, we often say chapter, shiva, shelter, whisper, number. But we should say chapter, shiv-er, shelter, whisper, number. And it makes the spelling a lot easier. So you can colour in the ER, and whether you say or the schwa, you know you're going to write ER at the end of those words. Let's go through now and look at the other things that are in these words that we need to remember. We've got the AR making the R sound in chart, the EA making a long E sound in cheat. We know that if we have a short word, chess is one syllable, so it's a short word. It has a short vowel sound, et. If it ends in S, we're going to put 2 S's. The end of a short word with short vowel ends in S, double S. Chance, we're using the CE for the S. It's the soft C sound at the end of that word, and it's how we commonly write the sound at the end of a word with the CE rather than an SE. So sandwich, this is from the Earl of Sandwich, who liked his meal between 2 slices of bread, so that's where the word comes from. So therefore it's a name, it's a person's surname, and it doesn't follow the English rule of after a short vowel we put TCH. So we're just using the CH. It's actually an old German name, and they wouldn't put TCH at the end, they give that a guttural sound, so it'd be Sandwich. Chapter, we've got nothing tricky in there. Shiver, we've got the SH making the sound, same in shelter. And now whisper, you've got the wh sound. So when you say that, you can feel air after the W if you put your hand in front of your mouth, so you know there's an H after the W. Number, you can just sound that out. Okay, let's read the word, sound the word, spell the word, and then we'll cover it and write it, and then we'll look at the rest of the page. So we've got chart, ch-art, C-H-A-R-T, cover it, C-H-A-R-T. You can do the rest of those on your own. These multisyllabic words, we've got 2 syllables in these words. You might prefer to break them into syllables like sandwich, chapter, shiver, shelter, whisper, number. So if you're doing that, remember we're going to break them between those 2 consonants. Shiv, it is a short sound, so we have to break it there. Shelter between the 2 consonants. Whisper between the 2 consonants. Number before the 2 consonants. Okay, plural. So these words are all nouns. So to make them plurals, you have to work out whether you're going to add ES or S at the end. If you just hear S, you're just going to write an S. But if you hear is, you know you'll have to write ES. Sandwich is, so it's ES. That's the easiest way to remember it, is listen to what you're saying and write down what you hear. So combined with the list word, a something board, you'll have to work out which word up there would best fit that gap. Take a something, something plate, and something me timbers. That's a common saying that you might hear. Verb families, so when you're doing verbs, you know you're writing the base word, then you're adding the S, the ing, and the ed to make the verb be able to be applied in its different tenses. Now, use in a sentence. When we add ER to the end of a word, it can mean, it can change it into a noun. So someone who cheats is a cheater. A charter is usually like a charter flight or something where it's an organised flight. So it doesn't always work, but quite often it does form a noun. Proofreading here, you've got it is said that in the 18th century, so what you have to do, this is actually the story of the Earl of Sandwich and where the word sandwich came from. So I've used it as a proofreading exercise. The names are spelt correctly, even though they might look wrong. So it's the common words that we've made that we've spelt incorrectly for you. So we've spaced it out so you can put the errors above where they need to be. So highlight any errors that you see and then just write it above the sentence, any of the letters that you need to change. Don't forget to look for punctuation errors as well. But I think actually looking at that, it's mainly spelling errors that we've put in. This is level M, list 13, and we're doing the day 4, and it's on speech marks and writing direct speech. So here we're trying to encourage you to use some other words besides said. We've got said is dead, so try and use these words here, some of these when you're writing and using direct speech. So we've got demanded, asked, sighed, muttered, whispered, yelled, replied, mumbled, grumbled, begged, thought, wondered, stated, screamed, pleaded, argued, cried, whined. Now here's a hint for you. Direct speech, the actual words of the speaker or the subject are used. The words are put inside speech marks. What did he or she say? So you usually put a 66 at the start before they start their first word is said, and put the 99 at the end of what they've said. So don't forget to put in a comma after the saying word. So if we're using this sentence, Dad said hi, so after you've introduced the subject and you've got the saying word in there, you put your comma, then whatever the person is saying, whatever Dad's saying or whoever is speaking, you must encase whatever words they're saying inside the 66 and the 99. Now we always start off whatever they're saying with a capital letter, and we enclose any punctuation within the 99. So the punctuation must come inside that 99, that speech mark. So use the words other than said to fill in the blanks and add direct speech marks to complete the sentence. So you're not allowed to use said in any of these, you've got to use some of these other words up the top. Mum asked, so comma after the saying verb, and then do you want a sandwich, and look, capital letter there, and all the punctuation goes within the speech marks. So you can finish off that exercise. Then down the bottom it says complete the sequence of dialogue using all the correct punctuation and a variety of speech describing verbs. What should we do this afternoon? Jack asked his friend Will. So you can finish that little sequence of dialogue down there, and perhaps read them to each other within your group and check that you've got that punctuation correct.